And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Monastery Live. It is September 2nd, 2018. As I am, of course, your one and only gaming monk. You can call me Mildra. And with me, I have got some of my good brothers. I have got good brother Doku. I have got the flamboyant flyer himself, Butter Guy, and I have got the biggest head in the Midwest, Eric. Uh, and we seem to have a stack as all hell set up for the
That show and a lot of technical issues.
well. Technical issues are going to happen regardless because we are cursed. So I suppose we before we get into the shit.
Google wants to shut us down.
Google has no idea how annoying I can really get if I want to. I am the guy who makes a habit out of jukebox bombing.
Only jukebox bombing?
Well, you know what, Toku, you should know what jukebox bombing is.
Oh, I do, but only jukebox bombing?
Well, okay. There was that one time that every time the Vikings lost, I would make sure that everybody's drink would have a Green Bay flag in it.
Oh my god! Really? Really? Same fucking thing.
Nothing.
It wasn't Mildred, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. It wasn't Mildred. You heard nothing.
But we do unfortunately have to get to fly our flags at half mast today because we lost a true icon and a man that gave us some of the dankest of memes because Terry A. Davis has sadly passed away.
Who?
Terry A. Davis, the guy who was afraid of CIA N-words that glow in the dark.
I thought you were gonna give a tribute to John McCain's.
No, I don't know. Although to be fair, if I did speak at his funeral, I'd probably be able to do so without bringing up politics.
Yeah, I swear to God. You know what's funny about this? Since you live in Minnesota, you remember the goddamn Wellstone Memorial?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They just couldn't help themselves, could they? It's not just one funeral; it's two funerals. Good Lord! I swear to God, if I go to a funeral and someone brings up politics, I'm busting out the air horn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bust out the vuvuzela.
That's even better.
But now I'm probably not going to show. I'm probably not going to show it because it's lengthy. But how about that footage for Cyberpunk 2077?
Well, I saw like 20 minutes of it, but like I said, for some reason my internet connections is designed to be a biatch. But for some reason, I put in the Canadian version of YouTube, and for some reason, the damn thing loads up a lot better. I don't know why.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try that. It might help with some of the longer videos I've watched. Now I've seen some people say that's a little too scripted and some people having issue with the obvious weak point on that boss, but I think they're being pretty ambitious. Whether or not they can deliver is another matter entirely. But there is one thing that I've seen some people bitching about that I think is really fucking stupid, and that is that apparently, according to certain people, you can't do Cyberpunk and show daylight. Like it's always got.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Look, just because it worked in Blade Runner, aka Razor's porn folder, does not mean it's gonna not mean you need to do it that way. The reason why nighttime is used in Cyberpunk, aside from referencing Blade Runner, is because it promotes that feeling of confinement.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea with Cyberpunk, and the reason why you see it being done in one city, is that this is a labyrinth you can't escape from.
Exactly.
That and besides, you can see all the pretty lights. That's probably the reason why you have it nighttime cyber. This way you can show all the pretty lights. But like I said, but that's not how it should be anyway. I mean, shit. Sometimes you got to go outside that fucking concrete jungle. I think that would be serviceable as well. It's like you go up there and say, hey, it's all nice. Then of course, sometimes something draws you back to the town.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I feel we should delve into a little bit, gaming wise, is we have Aaron, I think you should change your name to Nostradamus.
Oh yes, man! I wish I had that.
How many weeks ago did we have a conversation about Sega bring back some of their old properties? It was like what, 2 weeks ago,
and then actually it was 1 week ago.
1 week ago, and then less than 48 hours after that goes live, we get that.
It wasn't 8 hours, it was 24, dude. I remember it was last week, and Monday's when I announced. I know this because I talked to a buddy of mine about that same day.
Now, the gameplay that they showed was very minimal. I'd imagine that we're going to see a lot more footage come TGS, which is pretty. I think that's next month or later this month. I can't recall specifically.
Yeah,
looking it up right now. Actually, a little over 2 weeks from now, the 19th to the 23rd.
Yeah, I think they'll reveal more in when TGS is about, and as far as and a lot of people are hypothesizing whether Yuzo Koshiro is going to be doing the soundtrack to it. Now, I have a tweet that I think I posted. Back on Monday.
Yeah,
I think I posted on Discord back on Monday. Where is it? Ah, here we go. I'll repost it again, so you don't have to go and look. Okay.
He goes, thanks, guys. I understand what you're expecting, but currently I can say nothing about the SO4 things right here. I hope you guys understand.
Which
I think you had suspected that he's probably under an NDA.
Exactly, which means he's either advising or he's doing the soundtrack.
Exactly.
To be quite honest, I'd like for him to advise and collaborate with an artist doing something not completely replicating, but something like what Mick Gordon was doing, where he wasn't trying to replicate the soundtrack, but rather create a new identity that still homages the original.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do have to wonder one important question: where the hell is Skate?
Don't worry, they're only showing 2 characters, but I'm sure there's more as time goes on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine. I can't help but see this as a bit of a delayed reaction to the popularity of. I'm pretty sure you've heard of a little thing called Beats of Rage.
Yeah, I've heard about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about
Raged,
that.
yeah.
It's basically it's basically the Streets of Rage equivalent to Mugen, and I've seen people make some very interesting things out of it.
Yeah, but that engine is like very wonky. It's like it's like too cookie cutter. I think the SOR maker from the remake is a lot better.
Oh, it certainly is, but Open BOR I have a small bit of nostalgia for.
Yeah.
And this is coming from the guy who spends his free time taking a giant shit on nostalgia.
Yeah.
Now that being said, it did make me smile a little when I saw that Dead Cells has an art book as a bit of an aside. And now getting those out of the way, I think it's time to go into a bit of news. But before we go into that, I think we need to lift our spirits a little bit. This is courtesy of ET. Apparently, John Goodman has defended Roseanne Barr, saying she's going through hell. John Goodman is opening up about Roseanne's abrupt cancellation in May, after Roseanne Barr was fired due to a racist tweet against Valerie Jarrett, a former senior advisor to Barack Obama. The tweet wasn't racist; it's just that people overreacted. They always do.
Of course they do.
In a new interview with the Sunday Times, the 66-year-old actor admits he was devastated at ABC's decision to cancel the highly rated show. Also became depressed. Goodman played Barr's on-screen husband, Dan Connor. Quote, I was brokenhearted, but I thought, okay, it's just show business. I'm going to let it go. But then I went through a period, about a month, where I was very depressed. I'm a depressive anyway, so any excuse that I can get to lower myself, I will. But that had a great deal to do with it, more than I wanted to admit. He also defends Barr, revealing the 65-year-old meeting had to give up her rights to the show so that its spin-off, The Connors, could go on without her. I know for a fact she's not a racist. She had to sign a paper saying that she relinquished all her rights to the show so we could go on. I sent her an email and thanked her for that. I did not hear anything back. She was going through hell at the time, and she's still going through hell. Asked about Barr getting fired, Goodman says he was surprised at the network's decision. I'll put it this way, I was surprised at the response. That's probably all I should say about it. When asked if they were good friends, she said we were work friends. In May, Barr had praised both Goodman and her co-star Laurie Metcalf, saying, I wish ABC had not thrown two of the greatest actors in the world out with me, Laurie and John. I'm so sick over this. They will never have better character actors on their network. And he said other than that, everything's fine. And before commenting on ABC deciding to suspend its Emmy for Your Consideration campaign for the show's 10th season. I wasn't going to get an Emmy anyway, he said, shrugging. I've been up there 11 times already, and if I didn't get one, I'm not going to get one. So it's the vibe that I get out of this is that even months after the fact, the cast is taking the cancellation pretty hard.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, I got the older actors, Laurie and John Goodman. They don't like this at all. But the other ones like Sarah Gilbert, I think her and a couple others threw Roseanne under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely. I suspected this was going to happen from day one. Somebody was just looking for an excuse, especially because I'd imagine that they got pretty pissed off when the show was actually doing good ratings wise. But the higher ups do what higher ups do, and they panic because nobody has decent social media management these days.
Yeah.
No, they need to analyze and get woke. And you know, I'm sorry, the Counters will not do well. The show is nothing without Roseanne.
Did you say get woke?
Yeah.
We're not doing the clap yet. This doesn't deserve it.
I know.
Here's the reaction that I foresee what's going to happen when that first episode drops. it's gonna fucking tank because spin-offs based on sitcoms never work.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and the time it ever worked was back in, I believe, the mid '80s. That I think there was I forgot who what the actress was, but the show called it was originally called Valerie's Family, but I think she left after the first, and then Sandy Duncan came in and it became fucking Hogan Family.
Yeah, but the exception kind of proves the rule.
Exactly.
And
Valerie Harper, Aaron.
Valerie Harper, thank you.
And the other thing is that even with more serious work, this kind of thing has only worked a handful of times. I think one of the only times that there's only a couple major times I can think of, and there's probably others where a spinoff has worked for a lengthy amount of time an actual spinoff, not some sort of follow up. Now, Law and Order has had plenty of its plenty of its spinoffs, and that shit it wasn't the same after Jerry Orbach left, because believe it or not, there used to be a time where I would watch Law and Order almost religiously because of Jack McCoy and because of Briscoe, because they were very, very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But when they started doing the spinoffs for that those worked for a while, and unfortunately the worst one of them is still around.
SVU.
Yeah, which is a shame because it's got two people I really like. I like Bells and I like Ice-T.
Yeah, same here. Also, they and the couple spinoffs they did for CSI, it was the more successful one.
Mm-hmm.
They also did New York, but it was it was mediocre at best. And don't forget, there's the king of the spinoffs, All in the Family.
Yeah.
How many shows did it spin off? Jefferson, Maude, which and about Maude was it got that spinoff created another spinoff. That being Good Times.
Now granted, spinning off of sitcoms, especially at that point, wasn't too much of a stretch given how the setup worked. The other example I was gonna bring up, even though it had its ups and downs, and I actually think it was better than its source material, is Angel.
Angel. Oh, you think Angel is a lot better than Buffy?
Yeah.
Yeah, considering Joe Sweden, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it had a slightly darker tone. Maybe it's because it had better music, or maybe it's because Angel was a better actor. Any one of those things could have been a possibility. But I remember enjoying Angel. Anyway, and speaking of cyberpunk, I think we should get into a bit of gaming news, as we've got some regarding that.
Mm-hmm.
First thing is that to celebrate Cyberpunk's 30th anniversary, our Talsorian Games is restocking Cyberpunk 2020. Now you've always been able to get the game in PDF form on DriveThruRPG, and I have all 3 editions of Cyberpunk in my archives because of course I do. But Mike Pondsmith's company, our Talsorian Games, have been after speaking with Eurogamer's Johnny Chiodini at PAX West on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
On their official store, talsorianstore.com, will have the game on sale today. And apparently this isn't the only thing they're doing, because they're apparently hosting a celebration of Cyberpunk, and Mike Pondsmith put in a little message And I'm going to do. And hang on a moment. I'm going to do a bit of screen. Hang on, I needed to reload the damn thing because it wasn't cooperating. I'm going to be setting up screen share so we can see the video in question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and here we go.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, neither can I. Mildred, we can't hear anything.
Now, let me try this again, and take 2. Still nothing.
Still nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what screen. I don't know. For some reason, screenshot can get some. Can get a freaking picture on there, but no fucking sound.
How about now? Let's try this one last time. And
Yeah, it's working for me.
That's
Huh.
weird.
Yeah, I can see it.
Well, we
No,
can see it, but we
I
can't
can
hear
see
it.
it, but I can't. Yeah, can't hear it.
Oh yeah, I can't hear crap. I can see it though.
Yeah.
Fuck it, improv that shit.
the point is twofold. They're apparently planning a lot more for a celebration of Cyberpunk, and the guy you see in front of you is Mike Pondsmith.
Mm-hmm.
He's the creator.
What was that, Aaron?
Is he the creator?
Although if I ever get the chance to speak with him, I'd love to talk to him about Mechton. I know that's not going to be the focus right now, but still.
I kind of
That's
want the glasses.
Yeah,
Really.
those damn glasses. But I'm going to, if any of you are curious, I'm going to link you guys the article in question. It'll be nice that it's funny that I came across this because one of the guys I follow frequently on YouTube, Young Ye, apparently did a Cyberpunk one shot with some friends and family, which I find that a bit heartwarming, especially since I'm guessing that part of this celebration of Cyberpunk is going to be the fact that a new edition of the game is going to be released. Probably still going to be is interlock system because Fusion did not pan out the way that anyone wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll be interesting to see. Now, I technically have a print version of it, but I'm glad that other people are going to get it. So maybe we can shake off this dependence on D&D.
Thank God, yeah, because Watsy and Trisek,
we're going to get to that.
they need to be punished.
Okay. After years of facilitating other people's RPGs, Roll20 has decided to make their own. A science fantasy RPG called Burn Bright. Spelled with a Y because poor literacy is cool.
Yeah, trying to make it look cool. Gotta love that shit.
Yeah.
Now, Roll20, of course, has been a godsend for me on RV Tabletop on Wednesday nights. And while it can be somewhat annoying when some of the more obscure games I want to run aren't supported the way I want to, there's enough stuff there that I can utilize. And since I have a pro account, I can access it. But I haven't had the time to deeply delve into it because I've been working on other things. Geek Native had a bit of an interview with the thing, And they asked the managing partner and co-founder Nolan T. Jones about why the company was doing this. And their response was, one, helping us understand what publishers go through in making and maintaining a game, and two, giving us a tool that we can share with publishers to give them clear numbers as we try experiments with content sizes, pricing, etc. They'd also asked if they had any. Now, as far as what makes it special is that it was specifically apparently that's specifically designed with Roll20 in mind. They said that the game allows players to build a ship together and maintain a pool of shared resources with advantages, which allowed for reroll, and Argent, which is the currency of the game. Since Roll20 makes sharing maps and character sheets easy, they wanted to take advantage of that as well.
Yeah.
On combat mechanics for both personal and spaceship battles, and yeah, the game is using a science fantasy approach, which I'm fine with, but I can't help but wonder why they didn't make a universal version first and then build on other setups, kind of like what Wolverine does. They are relying on using maps since that's one of the things that Roll20 is good at.
Yeah.
So rather than the players moving their spaceship token around the map, their characters' tokens appear on a map of the ship they built together and run all over the ship, firing turrets, repairing damage, and piloting the ship. Also, rather than look, there's also some mention of the table setup, which all right then. There's let's see, tracking 2 types of health levels, some complex conditions, and the like. Space travel being easier to calculate on the galaxy map, which looks as such, just so you guys can see it. I can't help but notice that it's using the same font as Monty Cook Games uses for their stuff. The core mechanic is that every player has the same 18 skills: 6 physical, 6 social, and 6 mental, with every role being a skill, which is pretty simple.
Sorry to interrupt. Hold on a second. I got to step out for a second, okay?
All right.
Doing skills rated from D4 to D12, so not too far. This doesn't seem too far removed from something too far removed from Savage Worlds, which I'd imagine they were using as a backdrop. But apparently what you're supposed to be doing is rolling dice and making sure you don't get doubles. A bit odd. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. So you'd roll 2 dice of the skill you're using for the first action, and then 3 dice for the next action, 4 after that, and so on. I can kind of get what's happening here. I think I get the feeling that there's no attribute setup, so you're going to be rolling the skills independently, which provides an interesting idea. After there's a bit of a talk about how diverse the team is, which all that it says is a big team full of people from all walks of life. There's no real attempt to demonstrate wokeness or something like that. And apparently there was a developer chat about a week ago, but I didn't watch that.
I don't know. For me, it just sounds like roll some dice. The game.
I'm oversimplifying this. Unfortunately, even though there is a compendium for the game, it's not accessible unless you have a pro account, which is really fucking stupid. But
Yeah, I'm skeptical about it. I mean, maybe it could be good, but it suffers from the same problem that High Guardian Spice did. It could be good, but it didn't really tell us that much about it. So I don't know.
From the brief interview they had with Geek Native. Now, I will probably skim over the rule book myself, and I'll give kind of a first impressions. They've put up one demo called Burning Dawn, which I probably will run, but it'll take a little bit. So, and I'm not sure if I'm going to run it with the RVT crew or if I'm going to run it independently of them. But I
have to point. Sorry, go ahead, Mildred.
I will be testing it out. That much is certain.
See, I have to point something out that I found very interesting, and I don't mean to make this political, but like back 3-4 years ago, I was looking at a lot of this SJW crap, and it was just like, rah rah rah, Alex Jones, they're turning the fucking frogs gay, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And I essentially came to the conclusion that, well, I'm not gonna be the thing that I hate. So when I see something like this come out, I actually really do hope it's good. I hope it does well, and I hope it's successful. Because I hate watching my hobbies and everything I enjoy just burn to cinders around me. It's not what I want to see. So,
exactly.
Looking at something like High Guardian Spice, I hope it's good. And if it isn't, well, at least I get to roast it. When I see an instance like this, I hope it's good. And I hope if it's not, I hope I get to roast it. Because either way, they're going to make money. But I hope,
of course.
Yeah, my big stipulation is, can we at least just have a little bit of constructive criticism? Because even if something is crap, I have watched so many animes or played so many different games that are cringy as hell and utter shit, but I play them because it makes me laugh and it's funny.
Yeah.
As long as it's playable, I don't fucking care.
Exactly.
You can push your politics all you want. As long as the game is good and I have something to laugh at, I don't care. I want something that's fun.
Yeah, it is funny that you bring that up because I saw Arch's videos on Warhammer Fantasy 4th Edition and Vampire the Masquerade 5th, and I do see some of what he said when it came to Vampire with that warning page that was right up front. The rest of the game in both cases doesn't have the level of offense that Pathfinder 2nd did. But we will get to the whole High Guardian Spice things later because I have some updates on that.
What was that warning talking about on Vampire?
Wait, there's
well, it had to deal with the first page about you're playing as monsters but don't act like monsters.
Ah.
I think they did it as a reflex because of that whole dice dog shit. But
wait, good, Mildred, can you just repeat that real quick?
No.
This is
so.
Do I need to go put a few more beers in the fucking freezer because that sounds like a drinking game.
I don't know.
This sort of because of some of the more messed up content that World of Darkness can delve into, I feel like some degree of warning is a bit justified. especially
Yeah.
since there has been a bit of a troubled history. But anyway, so here's a bit of a pop quiz for you guys. Who here remembers the seventh guest?
Oh, I've heard of it.
So have I.
The seventh guest was one of the first. Not only one of the first games to use full motion videos, but one of the first games to be released only on CD-ROM. It came
Oh,
out
wait,
in
I
1993.
remember that. I think they came up with a
Like
sequel a few years later called The
Like a
11th
CD
Hour.
game?
The seventh guest.
One of those silly-ass CD-ROMs like Phantasmagoria or some shit.
Oh, PC.
Oh God, when that came out, I was playing.
The PC
I was playing
back in the
Outworld.
PC in the mid-90s, man.
Yeah, I was playing Outworld when that came out.
Yeah. Now of course, it seventh guest was even though it doesn't seem to have been remembered lately, it was a groundbreaker because doing the whole pre-rendering 3D, which looks ridiculous nowadays, and the use of live action, that was seen as a big damn step forward.
Exactly.
It was a
Back then.
recently a group had set up on making a board game version through Kickstarter, which recently met its funding goals. So now they're in the hard part. Now what it's done by Trilobite Games. Exactly what challenges are they facing? Well, a Kickstarter update at the start of the month acknowledged that they had missed the July target because of 2 speed bumps. One is solved and was a problem around getting the red to look right. The other is a problem with the box that Trilobite and the manufacturer are working on. Apparently, they're about to release the 7th Guest board game, so hopefully backers won't have to wait much longer. The premise of the board game is that players re-enter the Stealth Mansion, which is crammed full of puzzles, and make their way to the top. The winner is who escapes with their sanity and soul. They made their goals, but they've also gotten an extra 12,000 on a backer kit. Now, Trilobite Games' website has a few other entries that fall into that game meets video approach, although done a lot better than her story. There was Tender Loving Care, which is about a love triangle that stars John Hurt of all people, which is on Steam, and of course the sequel to the 7th Guest, The 11th Hour. Now, let me go over to.
I remember The 11th Hour.
Now let me see if I can get a decent image of what the mock-up of the board game is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is from their Kickstarter. I like this. I like the use of that old school red. I think that was what was probably giving them problems. Is the whole hidden red thing.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I was about to say, wait a minute, what? Oh, then I realized I know what it is. It's one of those little. It's like the same shit with 3D glasses, and now they hide words with that shit to hide words and shit.
Yeah, I had a few board games like that as a kid.
Yeah, same here, man.
The folks, Bedrock Games, the folks behind the Wuxia themed Wandering Heroes of Ogre Gate, which is on my review list. I'm thinking of doing a Wuxia series for a whole month's worth of reviews. And it's been very well received. It's currently averaging at about 4.5 out of 5, and the book is not lacking in content because it's like 492 pages, which it kind of needs, because wuxia as a genre is something that people know and at the same time don't.
Yeah.
Because their impression of wuxia is usually begins and ends with kung fu movies, except there's a lot more to it than that.
Ah,
And granted, there is certainly that aspect of it, but House of Paper Shadows seems to be going in the sense of a more horror themed adventure.
Mm.
Um, and apparently the main artist for it, Jackie Musto, has greatly enjoyed the challenge that has happened with it. Wuxia is one genre that I would love to run a campaign in, but the problem is because of what it is, it's hard to try and adequately summarize it for my players.
mhm.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's in the frame of a what? Is it in the frame of like Crouching Tiger? What have you?
Yeah, that's what that kind of stuff is what I mean.
There's your problem. There's your problem. Because I think wuxia in that effect, it's more like have to see it. You know what I mean? Can't explain it. You can't talk about it. It's like only meant to be seen.
If that's the case, how do you explain the four pillar books regarding wuxia? Journey to the West, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber, and Water Margin.
Oh,
like
I'm talking modern wuxia, to be honest with you. I mean, that's just my experience.
Yeah, I do think it's possible. I just need to figure out the right way to do it. Now, since we talked about it before, and I've mentioned it elsewhere, let's get into the fail that is what's going on with Woods of the Coast.
Oh, fucking Watsy. What the hell?
Now, Jeremy has covered this. Tara has covered this, so I suppose it was only a matter of time before I followed suit.
Someone hasn't renewed visa.
And I do want to give my thanks to Tara for letting me borrow some of her notes on the matter. But the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica cover artist and two other D&D illustrators were banned. Now the headline for this says that they were banned from entering America. That is not the case. They got booted out. Now the three names are Titus Lutner, who is an illustrator and concept artist who's worked on D&D, Magic, and for companies like Riot and Valve. Anna Steinbauer is an illustrator who's worked on Magic, and Magali Vivenu is an artist and fantasy author who's worked on Magic the Gathering, D&D, A Game of Thrones, and with Valve.
Yeah, I don't think they were banned. They just overstayed their damn visas.
Magali Villeneuve illustrated the cover for the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, which, as I said before, I do not have high hopes for. I get the feeling that's going to suck. On August 25th, all three of them flew to SeaTac Airport in Seattle for what Lutner describes as an upcoming D&D concept push. Maybe make the game more interesting.
We can only wish.
They had ESTA visa waivers that allowed all of them to travel to the United States for business or pleasure. The details are still coming out, and Wizards of the Coast are yet to comment and probably won't make a public statement, but something went wrong. 3 artists were taken aside by immigration officers, went through 6 hours of interviews and waiting before being cuffed and taken to an ICE detention center. They spent 11 hours in the center before being flown back to Europe. The account of the ordeal comes from Titus Lunter, who describes the American agents as courteous and notes they were allowed to make 1 or 2 phone calls. On the other hand, they were not given beds and had to surrender their passports. All 3 are now banned from the ESTA visa waivers thing, and will have to make individual applications should they try and enter the United States again. And he explained what had on his own Twitter. He did a post that explained what had happened. and he had said, "We were in violation of our ESTA visa waiver, whether we know it or not. This means our ESTA eligibility is canceled forever. As of today, we're not allowed to enter the U.S. without a full visa. It would also mean that we would be put on the next flight home, which was the next day. According to protocol, we would not be allowed to stay in the airport, and so had to be moved to another department, ICE. Because of the regulations, after 6 hours of interviewing and waiting, we were handcuffed and taken through the airport to an ICE detention center 30 minutes outside of the airport. Here we were booked and checked into our jail cells. These are, as you can imagine, austere and not comfy. There were no beds, but we were given a blanket and some sanitation utensils. We would spend 11 hours here. We were fed and had access to water. In the morning, we were cuffed, put into transport, and escorted back to the airport where we would wait in uncertainty about our flight status. Some friendly personnel allowed us another phone call to let people know. After that, we were escorted by police to our gate for our flight, and our stuff would be returned to us upon arrival. And although to give Titus his credit, he had said in his tweet explaining things, "Please don't point fingers. It's a very complicated situation, and we are figuring out exactly what went wrong and why. Mostly, we are tired, scared, glad, and overwhelmed."
I said, wait, they got blankets?
Mm-hmm.
I got arrested, and it was off some bullshit. I'm an American citizen. I got arrested because I had a tackle box in my trunk of my car that had a fillet knife because I had gone fishing.
Wow.
And
What the hell?
I got arrested because, granted, this was, this was around 2009, 2010.
Oh my
But I had some weed on me. Not a large amount. I had enough to roll a blunt. Yeah, I had maybe 2-3 grams. And okay, I was smoking weed. Okay, cool. Yep, it's illegal. Okay, I got busted for smoking weed. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
Yeah.
But the fact that I had a fucking fillet knife in my trunk that was in a tackle box, there's no way I could have fucking accessed it. But I had forgotten that I had been fishing 2 weeks earlier. Now it's a concealed weapon. Now it's a concealed weapon.
You actually take it out of your trunk.
Oh, you can't be smoking weed and have a concealed weapon for some reason.
I spent 2.5 days in the fucking detention center. Granted, it was actually rather entertaining, I will admit, because there was like 3 really drunk Hispanic dudes and 2 really drunk rednecks. And they're like, I'm sitting there in the drunk tank just watching these motherfuckers go back and forth. Like, they couldn't speak English, and they're trying to fucking talk to these two fucking rednecks. It was the funniest fucking thing I had ever seen, because they were trying to talk, and you could see both of them were getting the same kind of shits and giggles out of it, because it's like, we don't know what the fuck they're saying, but we'll just keep talking anyways. And the guards were getting pissed, because they were like, we don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's like, well, we don't know what the fuck they're talking about either, motherfucker. Go fuck yourself. That shit was fucking funny. But at the same time, it still ended up costing me like $500 for about 36 hours. But
Yeah.
Oh my God.
it was funny, and they took my fucking... They didn't just take my fucking fillet knife for the fucking fish. They took my entire tackle box.
You had to
Like,
buy an entire new
fucking
tackle
asshole.
box?
They took the whole fucking tackle box.
What the frick?
Yeah, they took the whole fucking thing.
Wow.
I mean, they made you go buy a
fucking
tackle?
pieces of shit. Oh, dude, I had some swimmers, I had some spoons. Like, I had probably about $150 worth of lures.
Oh
Not to
my
mention
word.
just the bait and the string and everything. Like, I had the white and red spoons. I had the jointed, the jointed swimmers that you would use to go fishing for like pike and muskie.
Oh my
I had
God.
I had all that shit, and I had the good quality shit, not the plastic shit, but like the wooden one.
The shit that you get when you absolutely want to catch that damn fish.
Yeah.
Although why you'd want to catch a northern pike, I have no idea. Those things are absolutely nasty.
Yeah.
Oh, I've caught in about 17 of them. I have a I wasn't allowed to take the fish because Canada, but I have a 19 and a half inch smallmouth bass.
Oh.
Is that actual 19 and a half? Because whenever somebody tells a fish story, I have to double check.
All right, you want a real you want the truth, because this is not a fish story. This is not one of those kind of fish stories.
With you.
No, I'll show you. I don't mind. Give me a second.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I don't
But
back-
So cool.
But my question is, what made them? What did they actually do to violate their visas?
Okay, and this is where I have to thank Tara on this, because she did a fair bit of research on the matter. The thing with the ESTA waiver is that there is a waiting list, and they only put out a certain number of those waivers a year. And once that number hits 0, that's the cutoff. Even if you were on the waiting list and the cutoff happens, you're shit out of luck. You gotta wait till next year.
You're fucked.
Somebody apparently was too stupid or too ignorant to let them know, hey, we're cut. It's close to the end of the year. We might not be able to use the waiver, but they didn't, and then all this shit happened. What they should have done is somebody either at WotC, at Hasbro, I don't give a fuck, should have set it up so that the visas were individual work or travel visas. If they had gone through that paperwork and had it set it like that, none of this would have happened. Would there have still been some paperwork and still been some red tape? Yes, but that's par for the course whenever you're doing any sort of international travel.
Hey, Mildred.
There's the
Yeah.
you know,
Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, fuck.
Does wait a minute.
Is that
Just for some perspective,
Oh, okay.
that's a
Okay.
big
Yeah.
motherfucker.
okay? For a split second, I thought it was one of those talking bass that I keep.
The big mouth Billy Bass.
Yeah, the ones that
Nope.
I go to great lengths to try and destroy every one of those singing fish that I can find. And yeah, given the shine on that, that's a damn good fish. That's some good stuff, man.
Yeah, well, here we go. Fuck it. Hold on.
Yeah, it looked like a big mouth Billy Bass for a second.
Yeah, I can't. What?
It's smallmouth Delaney Lake Lodge, 26th of May, 2009.
Nice. Oh, consider me corrected.
So basically, you catch a fish, they give you a plaque. I love it.
Dude, that thing though, it fought like a motherfucker. Not an easy fish to catch.
Although, that reminds me, since Since we're talking about things we need to bring back, can we have a port of Sega bass fishing?
Now that's old school.
Not
That is
really.
old.
I played the
Then-
shit out of that on the Dreamcast.
Don't make me feel old, Mildred, please.
Yeah.
Don't make me.
Anyway,
But
yeah.
but a bunch of the woke end of the gaming spectrum has been trying to spin this whole thing into saying, oh, it's because ICE is the Gestapo, it's because of the racist in charge. Like, no, it's because WotC didn't do their fucking job. That's why this happened.
Yeah, this is more like you had one job, but of course the fucking assholes at WotC obviously probably try to spin it as some sort of Maurice Orange Hitler Trump garbage.
I know that at least one magic news site is trying to spin it as such. And I don't know if EN World is trying to spin it like that, but it wouldn't surprise me at all because the people running EN World are a bunch of idiots. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah,
But bottom line, this should not have been an issue. This should have been an open and shut thing. If they had taken care of the whole matter. And to steal a line from Deshinta. How is it that you can completely fail at your job and you only had one?
Oh my god. Yeah.
It's because they're employed by WotC.
Yeah. So as I always say, fuck the WotC.
Exactly.
A shameful display.
And speaking of shameful display, let's talk about the shit going on with Star Citizen, a topic I haven't talked about since Iron Liz was on. I think that was the last time I talked about Star Citizen.
I haven't heard much about Star Citizen. I don't follow Derek a while ago because he connected to
that's a game that's a game I bought into. But yeah, Star Citizen, let's fucking talk about it.
Yes.
They're paywalling their announcement streams.
They're a paywall. What in God's name? Oh my word!
Now, when in the FAQ, when the question came up of why do I have to pay for the live stream, their response is the scope of this year's event plus the staffing and technical requirements of streaming 2 parallel stages necessitates a ticket price. We strive to provide a digital experience that is as satisfying and comprehensive as possible.
Oh my god! Don't want anyone calling them on their bullshit. That's what it is. They know Star Citizen has become a fucking lolcow for the better part of a decade, and now they're just trying to make sure that's like, okay, we dug ourselves enough. Let's make sure no one else knows that we're digging deeper.
Yep, and I do have to thank Mandalore for bringing that little thing to my attention. But seriously, is this? I have to wonder if they're partially doing this so they can try and find some way to raise funds, given the whole Crytek lawsuit that's still in play.
Yeah, really.
You know, as someone who bought into Star Citizen, because originally what it was, I bought into it.
Yep.
Yeah, I still have a Big Benny's fucking the noodle T-shirt or whatever, because
I know you would when we first met, you had repeatedly talked about how the money was worth it about 3 or 4 times. Nurgle and I made fun of you about that.
yeah. Well, the thing is, I got a T-shirt out of it, but I didn't buy into it after I got an Avenger. But I'm not going to give them any more money because I got a T-shirt and I bought into something that I want to see come to fruition.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here hoping this thing will fail. I'm just saying that they haven't exactly given me a reason to trust them.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I haven't given them any more money, is because And don't get me wrong, I saw the Idris thing and I thought it looked fucking awesome. But can I have Squadron 42, please?
Yeah, really.
Like, I get you guys want to do the fucking MMO thing and all of that, but just give us fucking Squadron 42.
Apparently, with the Crytek lawsuit, that's gonna be tricky because that's one of the cruxes of that whole spiel.
And I think that's probably if they don't deliver on the game, it's going to be due to that, because if you look at what happened with Star Citizen, is they took the Crytek engine and they basically ripped the whole thing apart. The engine that you look at when it comes to Star Citizen 3.2, I think they're on 3.3 now. It doesn't even resemble.
Well, at this point, they're not even they're not using Crytek anymore. They're using Lumberyard.
Well, and the thing is, they've essentially built their own engine, which is what they should have done in the first place. But now that the Cry engine is essentially the base model of what they've built their engine on, Crytek has a case for saying, "Hey, look, they used our engine and they're not following through with their contract," which, yeah, they kind of have a case there, but the engine that Star Citizen is using is not CryEngine. It's just not. The base model that they built the game off of, yeah, that was CryEngine. What they're using now is not.
Yeah.
I can't help but get the feeling that part of the reason Crytek is going so hard on this is because, well, who else is using the only other game that I can think of that's extensively using CryEngine is MechWarrior Online, which has its own problems.
Yeah, and not only that, Star Citizen has pissed away a lot of money.
Yeah, because they fell into a feature creep. But
oh god.
Now there's a couple items that I just want to go over without reading the article specifically. But now that we've gotten the news out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, the bar is open.
Yes.
Bring your empty stomachs. Please. Bring your clean livers. And bring out the pack mule. We're going salt mining.
Yes.
Please tell me that. Well, you know what I'm looking forward to, Mildred.
Oh yes.
About that thing, we will get to that later. There's two things that we've talked about in the past, but there's been some updates regarding them. Okay, the first off, let's get to a bit of Comicsgate news.
Oh yeah.
Robbie Rodriguez, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, I heard about this shit. Would you do that? Then again, oh that's right, you're an artist for Zoe Quinn's little shit. Of course you do that.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Zoe Quinn can't deliver on her own damn game.
Yeah, she got busted big time. That you know what?
I'm out of money.
Yeah, it's only $85,000, guys. No biggie.
I see what I'm saying. I thought there's something you're saying that you don't fucking hear that, don't you?
Exactly.
So let me get this straight, Zoe. You're out of money, and yet you're on vacation in Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo. Yeah, that's pretty expensive. Like, how can anyone in Japan tolerate this bitch? That's what I'm figure out.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they think the wokeness will bleed off of them and create magical money.
No, I think the problem. I don't know. Maybe You know what I think she's doing? This is just a theory of mine. Maybe she's trying to job at Tecmo.
No, if she had a job with Tecmo, then they would go completely bankrupt. And I'd like to at least play Warriors Orochi 4 before that happens, because that's the one thing from Koei Tecmo that I have some degree of hope in.
Yeah.
Although apparently when it comes to Dead or Alive 6, they're starting to really try and backtrack and try and find a way to reintegrate the soft engine.
Oh, so they're backpedaling, huh?
Which I knew was gonna happen eventually, because the results from Evo blew up in their face really hard. But to explain the whole thing, Robbie Rodriguez is the guy who's partially responsible for Spider-Gwen and is doing the art for Zoe Quinn's comic. And he decided to send a picture of his anus to Ethan Van Sciver.
Real classy.
We don't know if it was his. But it was still apparently a hairy anus.
And from the looks of it, I don't think he's wiped in a while.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all, because he's probably the kind of person who thinks that he can just bathe in cologne and he'll be fine. But
yeah, no, even worse. Just spray some X. I'm good all day.
But regardless, why would you? I choose to believe that he decided to take a picture of his own ass, because for one, the idea of anybody helping him with holding the camera is something I don't want to think about. And second, the idea that he talked somebody else into letting him take a photo of their anus is something I definitely don't want to think about.
Oh my god! But you know what? Yeah, they're basically like, I mean, what's next? They're basically 1 degree away from flinging poo at someone.
I look forward to that happening.
Oh,
I really do, because that is going to be so fucking funny.
What, them flinging poo? There being nothing more than a bunch of baboons and shit.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be funny, but
they don't do very well. So why the hell not?
Yeah, of course. They don't give a fuck about optics. In fact, they get so much cover from fucking mainstream game press anyway. Especially fucking Taku and Polygon. Yeah, especially Otaku. She sleeps with half of these motherfuckers anyway.
Well, we've already established that if she were a car, she'd be a four-door Ford whore.
Oh, I love it.
But now speaking of things that
I have one final thought about that, though.
Shoot.
A shameful display.
Display being the operative word here, but yes. The other factor that I want to talk about, speaking of display, is that Crunchyroll has decided to double down even further by closing the forums discussing High Guardian Spice on their own damn website.
Oh my god, they do not have much. It seems they don't have in their product. If you have to hide and not trying to respond to criticism, you're fucked.
Now, I've seen some people try and argue, what if the forum had devolved into just a bunch of trolls who are saying a bunch of hateful shit. It's like, if that's the case, they've got nobody but themselves to blame, because they spent because here's the thing, and this is at the crux of why people are mad at Crunchyroll. And I said this last week, but it bears repeating. People bought into Crunchyroll with the assumption that the money that they were going to be putting in at some level would be helping out the studios in Japan. So when they see that a chunk of the money that they're paying for their subscriptions is funneled into this project, they're going to treat that like a slap in the face.
Yeah, you don't go from the till.
No, I gotta correct something.
What?
Part of the studio is based in Tokyo. So, High Guardian Spice being produced by Crunchyroll as a quote original, which it's not original. But
It's a Tumblr crap comic.
But they have a studio in Tokyo. So technically they're not lying. But
go on.
But just because of the fact that they're not lying, it doesn't mean they're anime and it's not the thing that they promised to the consumer. And oh, by the way, High Guardian Spice is a fucking Tumblr comic.
Exactly. So
there's also the fact that
they didn't. Well, Mildred, let me just because this drives me nuts.
Okay. You don't have to get constipated on me.
I'm gonna.
Okay. You're gonna need some X-Lax for that one.
I'm gonna need to lift my leg up real quick here, guys. There we go.
Okay.
Just take a little dump on these guys real quick.
Oh my god.
That was
you know what?
Too much information.
You know what? Time to drag these fuckers into interrogation.
Drink.
No, not a drink. This is an interrogation.
But no, here's what drives me nuts. All they told us is we've got 4 females who are living in a magical city that are going to school to become guardians. That's all you know.
That sounds like that's the plot of every season of the world.
Honestly, I'm legitimately curious. I want to know. I actually hope it's good. I really legitimately hope it's good. I know it's not going to be.
Yeah, coming from the pink hair mod, that's a bit of a stretch.
I hope it is. I know it's wishful thinking, but I hope it's good. But I find it ironic that I can go to Tumblr and figure out what the name of the characters are. They didn't say that.
When they couldn't have done on all that stuff that you looked up, they could have put in the trailer. And now, yeah, I know. Now here's the thing. I know that they have a studio in Tokyo, and that studio is probably behind the background art because that looked a lot better. It looked like whoever was doing the background art was actually trying.
Yeah,
their scenery, that background art, I'm not gonna lie, was really well done.
Yeah.
I will not knock that. It looked really good.
I agree.
The Cal art bullshit from the characters, whatever.
That's where the problem is. Because here's the thing that they are not taking into account is that his perception is reality in these sort of things. You're trying to show that you're doing these original exclusive stuffs for your service. You have to hit the ground fucking running. And if you want
they hit the ground tripping.
Yeah, they the only way they'd hit the ground running is in the silly Olympics from Monty Python, where you have the 100-meter dash with people with no sense of direction.
And that's what worries me so much is because you have beautiful scenery. That background art, that quote-unquote magical city that I still know nothing about. looks amazing.
Well,
But
hey, yeah,
the characters look like shit.
yeah, no shit.
Okay, your characters look C-list,
Yeah,
maybe B-list
and they
at
got
best.
that large derp in their eyes too. So
That's
that's not
that's
helping shit.
I'd imagine that end of it came from the stateside studio.
Yep,
But
definitely.
the other issue, the overall issue is the fact that they spent, as I said before, they spent the majority of their time talking about either superficial things or putting too much focus on the people working on the project itself. If they had done a minute and a half long trailer that was just footage from the actual show, no comments from staff or anything like that, I'm not going to say that it would have had a great reception, but I think it would have had a somewhat better reception.
Yeah, but like I said, and that's all I always say, if you push your personality over your own product,
Now you see now, you done fucked up, yeah. I see what I'm saying. No, I thought myself, you know, you're not fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
exactly.
Yeah. Now,
Here's the thing. Why would anyone care about your writing staff or any of that? You haven't showed us anything.
Oh, they showed us something, all right. They showed
They
showed off the fact that they look feet. They have a fucking pink hair on their staff. I think that's pretty much showed us all we need to know.
Well, and that's the thing. They could have showed us the actual show, and if it
Exactly.
looked good, we would have been like, oh hell, these people actually managed to pull something off and do something really good, and it's good. I would like to watch it.
Paul would have
I don't
said,
care who's making it. I don't care who the creative team is. If it's a good show, it's a good fucking show. I don't give a flying fuck about the creative team. But no. That's not what they did.
Yes, Paul Heyman said, accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. What Crunchyroll did was do the exact same thing.
if that's the case, maybe when this flops, all three of them can get a job as writers for WWE.
Apparently.
I don't know. That actually could be a doubt. Well, then again, nothing's a downgrade from Bucky Beaver Teeth.
At this point in time, that's not out of the question.
Yep. Ultimately, let me put a bit of a control on this situation. When Netflix decided that they were going to venture into doing exclusive animation, the two works that they put out were the Castlevania anime, which technically isn't an anime because the studio who does it is in Canada, and Devilman Crybaby. Both of these, when they showed both of these, they showed just the trailer, some music. They didn't do a whole lot of dialogue for the Castlevania anime one, but you did not see who was working on it. You saw some mention of the staff because Masaki Yuasa is a well established name, even if he's a bit insane.
A bit.
And the focus was always this show is coming and it's exclusively on our platform. And wouldn't you know, both cases are very highly regarded.
Yeah, but then again, the guy's insane. Well, the more if you are, the more insane you are anyway. So, I'm talking about the good kind of insane, not the pink hair type of insane.
No, Masaki Yuasa is he sees the idea of tradition in animation as a suggestion. not in the bad way, but more in a. I feel like I'm losing my my sanity as I see you warp the fabric of space and time kind of way. His first work had a man literally outrunning God.
Oh, so he's that over the top.
And then things get weird.
Oh god.
Weird.
But then again, I don't think anything will be weirder than that some anime where some fat guy just say violated one to death.
I think you mean batshit fucking insane. But
Yeah.
weird.
Go watch Mind Game. That's his debut. It's something. I will just put
He's
it
always been like that though.
But then again,
He's always been fucking crazy.
yeah. But then again, I can't see any clearer than that scene that I just described. I'm trying to dance around that one because I'm not going to detail what scene.
Oh, don't dance around it. He's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
You sure you want to hear it? I don't want y'all to get banned.
Let's not go into that. I don't feel like getting kicked off of 2 platforms.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, we'll avoid that one.
all right. Now we all know about the.
I'll tell you off air.
Yeah. Now we remember when the Jacksonville thing happened. I had decided I wasn't going to talk about it at the time because I wanted to see how people were going to react, and a lot of them reacted exactly as I predicted. And one of these I came across on my own from the Conservative Tribune, and the other one I have you to thank from of all things Fox Sports. Now, the first one is saying that is saying opinion. It wasn't just mental illness. There's another sickness infecting gamers. That apparently the issue for them is that the esports nature is far too toxic, and using the Call of Duty excuse as well as trying to use a study that the APA, not that APA, had put out that said that gamers were likely to have more aggressive responses to a competitive video game than a violent one. To which I reply, how is that any different than any competitive activity?
Yeah, and this is somebody that fucking hates esports. It can go die in a fire. But
yeah, and he tries to end it off by saying, as history has proven, whether it's steroids in baseball or any number of New England Patriots related scandals, competition often brings out the very worst in people. What are you saying that we need to hold hands and sing Kumbaya when playing our video games?
Yeah, or take a knee. Oh god.
The only time I will take a knee is when I'm chop blocking.
Now here's the thing, okay? So we're just gonna go ahead and try to say, oh, let's do something about the competition, it's making you feel violent. Then can we say the same thing about a football players and their fucking girlfriends? I forgot every season we get 2 or 2 reports of a couple football players giving their girlfriends the love tap.
You know, sometimes I have to wonder if that stuff would happen a little less often if football had a hockey situation.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I like about hockey. You don't see a lot of bullshit incidents break out because if there's a bullshit incident that happens, you know what? There's going to be a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I got nothing to say about this one because you know what? You're always going to fucking run into some fucking douchebag who's going to do some bullshit because they're that much of a fucking little pansy-ass prick.
And that's also why
they lost a fucking game of Madden.
Yeah,
fuck out of here.
Plus, we can't really use. I I think the reason that you're seeing people take this approach is because they can't use the violence card due to Madden not exactly being violent. And if somebody was going to take that card, then they'd have to say, then the obvious question would be, well, what about actual NFL? Are we gonna have to tone that down too? They're already toning stuff down ridiculously enough because they're deathly afraid of people getting concussions.
Yeah. Now what's next? Okay, just because of this incident, now no more tackling. It's touch football from then. Oh,
Sorry,
that
guys,
would be.
you can't go grab flags and shit because that's violence.
Jesus Christ! This ain't fun. Come on, this isn't the intramural leagues. Oh my God.
And the next instance, and I have you, Aaron, to thank for bringing this to my attention.
God.
According, the IOC has stated that esports has no Olympic future until violence removed. Okay, first off, why would you want to be associated with an organization as corrupt as the IOC?
Yeah, that's number one. Number two, why is fucking esports is being considered for the fucking Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
I'm shit. Don't even consider esports a sport.
I'm guessing some people think it's possible because of the deal that Evo has with ESPN, but I have argued for the last 2 or so years that the Evo deal has become a poison pill because ESPN isn't regulating the outfits in advance. That's why you've had the
and ESPN's already got problems of their own right now because their ratings have been sagging because they've been getting woke.
Mm-hmm.
That end they thought hiring Jonathan Coachman would be a good idea.
Oh, actually, Jonathan Coachman would have been was an upgrade considering the talent
it could be worse because then again, Fox Sports I think still pays Colin Cowherd, and I have not forgiven him after that whole thing he said about Eddie.
That and well, at least there's enough not to hire Bayless.
But anyway, International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach isn't certain if or when esports might be incorporated into the Olympic Games. He was clear in an interview with the AP at the Asian Games on Sunday about the need to meet some conditions before being considered, saying, "We cannot have in the Olympic program a game which is promoting violence or discrimination. So-called killer games. They, from our point of view, are contradictory to the Olympic values and therefore cannot be accepted. You have had martial arts and you have had fencing in your sport, in your shows.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Here's what the whole thing is. Number one, I say this again. Why the fuck is esports being considered an Olympic sport? It's not. Doesn't matter how many fucking bullshit you put in. It's not. Number two, IOC. Are you basically saying to game companies and the fucking knee? I don't think you might get EA to do it. You might get fucking even Riot Games to do it. I'll talk about them in a bit. You might get Blizzard to do it, but come on. Every other game, especially the indies, they're going to give you the big middle finger and tell you to go fuck yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since they do. The audience that's going to watch the Olympics and the audience that's going to watch esports don't have that much crossover. And hell, when ESPN does the whole thing where they air the Street Fighter tournament, that doesn't exactly do much for them for views.
That's true. And besides, why would you want IOC dark money into your fucking esports events?
Yeah.
Anyways, it goes, esports is being held for the first time at the Asian Games as a demonstration sport and could be a full medal event in 4 years in Hangzhou, China. The Olympics be next.
Asian Games, that's why.
Yeah.
Could the Olympics be next? The IOC has been mulling over many of these questions since holding an esports forum in July at IOC headquarters in Lausanne, Switzerland. Bach still needs convincing. He won an Olympic gold medal in fencing, which uses swords, and tried to draw distinction. Oh, I'm going to love to hear this. Of course, every combat sport has its origins in a real fight among people. But sport is the civilized expression about this. If you have e-games where it's about killing somebody, this cannot be brought in line with our Olympic values.
Oh, wonderful.
So basically, bend the knee, or we're not
Fucking
going to have,
wonderful.
or it won't be a sport. Well, it's not a sport anyway, so they can go fuck themselves.
Asian Games organizers several days ago expressed sympathy for the victims of the deadly shooting at a video games tournament in a Florida shopping mall. They faulted U.S. gun laws, not esports. I think this is a bigger issue of gun control and access to guns," said Kenneth Falk, president of the Asian Electronic Sports Federation, following the shooting. No, it is. No, it isn't.
Where is he?
Wait, hold up. Asian Electronics, what?
Asian Electronic Sports Federation.
And
that's a thing.
Yeah.
Where is this guy who said shit hail from? What country?
What the? Okay,
What's his name again?
Can we just continue with the article?
What's this guy's name again?
Kenneth Falk, F-O-K.
Kenneth Falk. He's pretty Korean, is he?
Well, I don't know what he looks like, so I can't say.
This sounds absolutely delightful. I don't have Twitter, but if anyone does, just
look him up.
Poke fun at this guy, because I think it would be rather amusing.
I'm gonna look up this idiot.
What the fuck is this guy's credentials?
I know where he is. Okay, I found out where he's from. He's from Hong Kong.
Imagine my shock.
Boy. China.
In a wide-ranging interview, Bak also talked up Indonesia's chances of landing in the 2032 Olympics. Indonesia President Joko Widodo, not sure if I've got that right, surprised the country Saturday by saying it would bid. It comes as the Asian Games close on Sunday without Widodo up for re-election in April. You have a successful delivery of the Asian Games, Bak said. I think this is a very solid foundation for a good candidature for Indonesia. The rest of the article mostly talks about shit with the IOC, which isn't important for the sake of this. Next, we have Nintendo enthusiasts trying to do a little bit of, as much as I hate to use this term, concern trolling regarding Senran Kagura Reflections, which is going to be on the Switch.
Oh, great!
Okay, I've never heard about this one.
I have nothing to say about this.
Neither do I.
No. Hey.
Oh, I don't know anything about this, but you know what? Yeah, me.
I don't know anything about this, but I know about the fact that the game is getting released for the Switch.
Yeah, and apparently his issue is, and he says that my issue with Senran Kagura Reflections is that it feels antithetical to a Nintendo console. Sure, the company has gotten more mature over the years, but for the most part, Nintendo is known for being family friendly. Switch's greatest strength is the ability to take the console on the go. I only play my Switch in handheld mode when I'm at home, docked while doing reviews, and playing with my friends at my house. And I utilize the kickstand when I visit friends. One of my favorite things about playing with the console is that I can use it in the car or on the bus. I love showing random people the power of the Switch. It doesn't matter what game, when people see the Switch, it's a conversation starter. Reflections is a game that I don't think you can show random people, lest you be judged for playing it.
Well, of course not.
What is this game anyway?
True. It's all I know is it's an entry in Senran Kagura. It's using the Joy-Con with a bit of motion control, and it's got this guy's Jimmy's rustled. And
it's only featuring the main character at release, and the rest are DLC.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. They're going this sounds like they're doing the business model.
Well,
Exceed is the one publishing the game.
Delightful.
It goes.
Exceed.
Who've done pretty good work over the years, but here's the issue, because I have no interest in getting this, because I'm more interested in actual games than something more dating sim-esque.
Yeah, this is more of a dating sim type game.
But
oh, I see. Well, say no more then. Fuck that. When's Unipop 2 coming out?
Although that does bring up an interesting thing. Flutter, should I send a copy over to Shades and say that Raktai did it?
Yes. The answer is yes.
I know I just admitted to that crime, and if I do, I am tempted. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but I am very tempted.
I have a rule with dating sims: no nudity, no play.
But he seems to have the issue. His issue seems to be that he's going to be judged for playing it. That's your fucking problem.
Yeah, that's a you problem.
He goes, not only that, it's a mature game that families with younger children will have to play when there aren't people around. How's that any different?
Other than any from going to your dad's house collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says it's worth noting that unless players have the appropriate settings on their child's Switch, it's easy for them to gain access to explicit video games like this. The Switch has probably the easiest, most accessible, and most robust form of parental control that I've seen on any home console. Not to mention, Nintendo has a video included with the Switch that shows Bowser adorably putting parental controls on the Switch so Bowser Jr. can't play at certain times.
Right.
So if it's really an issue, just set that up.
Yeah, they made it.
It's not like there aren't parental controls on the console.
Yeah. And he ends with saying, "I can't help but think the game is better suited to PlayStation 4 or Vita." Why?
What? Yeah, really.
Well, there is a PS4 Senran Kagura game.
There's two. There's two of them. There's two of them already. I have both of them. They're both good games. Yes, I like the Senran Kagura series. You gonna fight me about it?
Yeah, and here's the and like I said, can we use if this idiot is using diamond for fucking swimming? I bet you he didn't mind that argument when his parents had cable back in the day, and nothing stopped him from watching Skinamax at past midnight.
Exactly.
Yep. Now he goes on to say the sexual content amplified by the use of the Switch's peripheral makes it uncomfortable and quite honestly a game that feels unnecessarily dirty.
Oh, wow.
Where? Exceed Games is a talented studio. Hey, Exceed Games only published it. The game is made by Marvelous. And I have no doubt that they will deliver a coherent experience. I'm just concerned that it will be remembered for the wrong reasons. The Switch is a phenomenal console that provides fantastic experiences. I know that Nintendo is trying to cater to a wide audience, but I think they dropped the ball by allowing the Joy-Con to be used in a way they're utilized in Reflections. It can only harm the family-friendly reputation that Nintendo has carved over the many decades it's been in the industry.
I got a question, and this I bet this is from one of those people that not too long ago stuck a fucking Switch controller up his ass.
I don't know, but I do know that the first image reply is that of a small violin.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, hold on. I knew I forgot to do something. Hold on. I'm gonna add something else to the soundboard. Damn, I knew I forgot something.
Here's how small that violin is.
Exactly.
And let's.
Gee, that's a small violin. All right, hold on. Yeah, that is a real small violin.
Mhm.
Hold on.
Oh, this is just absolutely delightful. I am just waiting for the final article that we have to go over.
Oh, wait for that, huh?
Oh, I've been waiting the entire night for this because, oh boy, this is a good one. This
Okay.
is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, almost got it onto the soundboard. Here we go.
Now, I do need a heads up before we get into this one because
Oh,
I need to crack a beer and
This is we're not hitting the bit of fail yet, but now
but I finally got the violin thing.
speaking of following up on things we've talked about in previous episodes here on the Monastery, we need. I think there has been a bit of news, and I have to thank Clownfish TV for breaking this little story regarding what I'm referring to from here on in as Netflix She-Ra.
Oh, Trap Shira!
God, I was hoping that was not a thing anymore.
Trap Shira!
Because
Oh, Zira.
Zara, yeah.
because apparently Noelle Stevenson has adapted one of her D&D characters for this show, and once you're doing that kind of shit of introducing your own OCs into a professional work, get out, you're done.
Yep.
Yeah, write-ins don't work. Get the fuck out.
Exactly. One more time with Bling.
Get the fuck out. No, as Christian Bale would say, what don't you fucking understand?
Now then, hello, Fluttercat. Apparently, Fluttercat doesn't think too kindly of it either.
Yeah.
Noelle Steve, this particular instance, it comes from EW and says Noelle Stevenson started playing D&D around the same time she started developing She-Ra for Netflix and DreamWorks Animation, so she's a 5th edition player.
Of course.
Of course.
Because of course she
Of
is.
course. Yeah.
With Molly Knox. With Molly Knox Ostertag, author of The Witch Boy and prop designer on Star vs. the Forces of Evil. As her group's dungeon master, Stevenson developed her first character, a Tiefling Warlock Nightmare Baby, as she put it.
Oh my
She was
Nightmare Baby.
Oh my god. It's a fucking tiefling?
That's
I like tieflings when they were done in 4th edition, because then they had an actual purpose than just being for half demon edgelords. Because in that case, it was ancient humans sold their souls to the devil, and their descendants carry the curse. That is interesting.
So apparently tieflings in 5th edition they're fluid attack helicopters.
They're just back to being half demons. That is not interesting.
Yeah, that's bland.
And that's not to say you can't do a half demon properly. I mean, I love Dante as much as the next guy, but when it's the case of leaving something on the table. Anyway, the article goes on to say she was a teenager who sold her soul to the devil to make her mom mad. Really? She told D&D fans gathered at New York City's FlameCon, the biggest LGBTQ centric Comic-Con.
You mean LGBTQIA apostrophe $, @ yeah.
Tifling was also a reporter, so when Stevenson found she was dealing with a character on She-Ra who shared that ability, she tapped into the D&D world to flesh it out.
Wait, ability?
That's not an ability. That's an occupation.
Sorry, I misread it. It's teleporter, not reporter.
Ah.
And on the same. She said, "I steal a lot of characters I've made from D&D."
I think that's where their stupid creative process. Look, so basically, what she's trying to do is do a spin-off Critical Role. So that's what it basically is.
And we already have a spin-off Critical Role. It's called Hyper RPG.
Oh my word.
She goes on to say, I pull so much inspiration from D&D because how do you embody these characters? How do you embody it when you have a mission for these characters? And how do you go and figure it out from there? And it's like I am sorry, but
it's okay, Mildred. We know how you feel with this one.
And of course,
we've been at that point where the AC is so huge you're at a loss for words.
Yeah. Okay. Now somebody in the comment section is saying that it is trying to make the MMO argument with 4th edition, which I've already dismissed. I honestly think that she got her start in 5th, and moreover than that, if you need to rely on D&D in order to make your characters work, that indicates a problem as a writer.
Yes.
Yeah. That also shows your lack of creativity.
Yeah, of creativity and originality.
No originality, no creativity, and obviously no balls.
Which is, and as I've said before, now some of my colleagues have been saying that they're going to give this the old college try and all that. For me, once you do the adding my OCs into the work, into the trash you go.
Exactly.
The only way that I'll accept that is if it's a signature OC.
Even then I'm kind of, because the thing is, doing this sort of OC thing, when somebody does this, they can't stop themselves. The temptation is far too great to not put themselves out there completely, or not put themselves out there completely, but give way too much attention to that character, be it in a protagonist or antagonist sense. Right. Either way, people don't like hearing the message of, hey, look at this OC I added in. Isn't it awesome? We call those things self-inserts, because that's what they are.
That's basically what it is, self-insertion.
Yeah.
There's not really much of a problem with self-insertion if you know how to do it right.
Yeah.
But like I said, the chance of success is 20% tops.
Yeah, if you know how to do it right, like not inserting the character within the first chapter, unless she's the main character, unless he or she is the main character, but still.
Yeah, you can have like author avatars, there's nothing wrong with that, but they can't be like the center character. You can do that.
Yeah, you can't put all of the attention of the story's attention on them. You have to give development to the supporting characters and the other main characters.
Exactly. I mean, I bet you that's the freaking thoughts when they put Ray together.
Well, that's a whole other can of worms, and I will maintain until I am dead that Ray is a Mary Sue, and gender has nothing to do with it, because if Ray was Rye, I'd call him a Gary Stew.
I wish it was like I said, it should have been Mom Jade as the main antagonist, not fucking Ray.
Yeah, but anyway, so given recent events, I am very tempted to move to California just so I can eat an In-N-Out burger.
Yes.
I've never been to an In-N-Out burger. You know what? If by some random curse I end up in California, I'll pop an In-N-Out burger. Oh.
Okay, so what is this whole thing all about?
Okay, apparently this all started from a blue check mark known as Eric Bauman. Don't know who he is, don't care. He said, "Et tu In-N-Out, tens of thousands of dollars donated to the California Republican Party. It's time to hashtag boycott In-N-Out. Let Trump and his cronies."
Really? Really?
Donating to the GOP? Come on.
Because the whole thing is because In-N-Out donated $25,000 to the GOP.
Yeah, so?
Yeah? So?
Now, putting aside the fact that $25,000 when it comes to donations is pissing money.
Yes.
Yeah, it's barely rent money for fucking political committee.
$25,000 is basically giving somebody a fucking car, and not giving them with that.
LA Magazine had said, quote, "Orange County is shaping up to be one of the hottest political battlegrounds going into the midterm elections, and it appears Irvine-based In-N-Out Burger has cast their vote early. The corporation gave $25,000
it's Orange County.
That's been a GOP stronghold for God knows how long.
Political preference does not reflect actual marketing."
Yeah. And I'm going to make something clear, because I remember somebody asking why would I consider eating at Chick-fil-A given what the CEO has said about gay marriage when I'm somebody who supports it. And I said one, supporting it doesn't mean worship, because what I specifically said was I firmly support the right for gay couples to be just as miserable as straight couples.
Yeah, Jason smile.
And secondly, what he says has no bearing on does not mean that every single employee who works at every single restaurant in his chain completely agrees with them. They're
exactly.
They're just there to do their job and collect a paycheck.
Yeah.
I would have to be the biggest dickhead in the universe to say no because of something that someone else said. The same reason that I was still willing to buy Shadow Complex, even though a chunk of the money was still going to go to Orson Scott Card, whose ideologies I don't agree with.
Yeah, congratulations. The In-N-Out gave fucking the GOP a Honda Civic that was
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, now but what I'm waiting for when it comes to these to fast food places that the woke hate, I'm waiting for someone at Chick-fil-A to go there dressed as Templar. Yes. Say we decided to stop here for lunch. Yeah, stop at Chick-fil-A for lunch on the way to the Crusades.
And one of the responses was from Captain Yona, who said, "Any business that doesn't agree with your politics should be boycotted." Wow, that's quite inclusive of you.
I'm enjoying and all that. I would love the freaking back. I love it how it backfired royally. Randall was tweeting Chick-fil-A. Christy Swan even stopped by. Shit. You know what? If by some curse I end up in fucking California, specifically LA, like I said, I hope they track Mercedes down and we're going to In-N-Out Burger and we're going to rub it in their fucking faces.
Oh, and guys, this actually, California isn't the only place that In-N-Out is.
I know it's mainly in the West Coast.
Yeah.
There's no one anywhere near Chicago.
Good point. West Coast and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Texas is the closest to get to go in and out.
And I'm not go. Somebody like me who has a hard time handling intense amounts of sunlight isn't going to Texas.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But there were plenty of comments that just decided to take the piss out of Eric over this, saying one person saying
Arizona, California, Nevada, Oregon, Texas, and Utah.
One person saying, "I'll have a ratio burger. Hold the lights." Another saying, "What a sad existence. I actually enjoy if I'm able to patronize a business that's run by people I might disagree with politically. It's called community. The ability to come together in these types of transactions, despite our differences, makes this a great place to live." Dave Spirit said,
go ahead.
Said, "I'm going to eat at In-N-Out for dinner."
You know what? I think it's apropos that I say this to Mr. Checkmark. You want some fries with that salt?
Exactly.
And the last one was from a Heather Hampton who said, "So I guess it's In-N-Out Burger for dinner tonight. Probably lunch too. Too bad they don't serve breakfast."
They might even start serving breakfast because of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now that we've raised our spirits a little bit, it's time to bring them back down.
Oh yeah.
So this comes from the Washington Examiner. Campus discourages September 11th memorial, citing bias against Muslims.
Here's Wisconsin. What? You're thinking Evergreen. This ain't an Evergreen.
Nope. This is from Wisconsin. So, Jeremy, fix your damn state.
Well, part of it's fixed. It's just Madison needs to freaking nuked.
Yeah, at least the worst thing that ever happened to me was getting pulled over for sobriety.
In Wisconsin, there's a law against sobriety?
I'm kidding.
Shit, I got to roll, guys.
Wisconsin. Even though it has actually been covered by the Washington Examiner.
Yeah, hey guys, I got to roll out of here real quick. So, hey, Mildred, let's save that article for next week because that's a fun one.
What?
That one.
Oh, that one. I think we can do it.
Yeah,
I think we
save it
could
for
do
next week.
I think we could do an entire stream on that article.
Well, tomorrow's Labor Day, and I got nothing to do.
Yeah, I work tonight.
Hey, you know what? If you want to do an article like or if you want to do a stream just based upon that article, then fuck, I'm game. Because that's one that we have a lot to unpack, especially if you go into the comments.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
Yeah,
As much as I'd love to
even
finish
though
it that way.
I wouldn't be able to join because again, nephew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have work till 9.
Well,
So-
I think the that particular main event we'll save that till
Next week.
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a special kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about that? We'll just have like a special episode or something like that.
yeah.
Might as well, 'cause that's a good one. that's a really good one.
Yeah, but the sad part will be avoiding all the dumpster fires. But you know what? We'll take a break from that because that is one tire fire we got to examine.
Yeah.
Well, I know you guys saw it. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to give it away, but
No,
oh, that's
spicy.
It's spicy.
that is a spicy article. Oh boy, satire
It's
aside,
old. It's old. It's spicy.
satire aside, it's not the article itself; it's the comments. The comments are so brilliant. And, but
Anyway.
I do have some things I need to attend to tomorrow, so
All right.
it is my time. I hope they remember you.
All right.
I just want you to know. This brings a smile to my face. Don't cringe at me, motherfuckers. Always though, it is always the pleasure shooting the shit. So, but I do have shit to get taken care of. So, I have indeed hit my limit. So,
All right.
adios. Have
Take
fun,
care.
guys.
We're certainly gonna try. But anyway, getting back to the whole campus thing. Administrators at Ripon College in Wisconsin have ruled that a September 11th memorial cannot take place on campus because it may offend Muslim students. The private cited bias reports that were filed in during last year's September 11th memorial.
The points.
Let's see. Ripon, Wisconsin. Where the fuck is it? Hold on. Look. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. Fulac County looks like it's close to Madison.
Well, that explains everything.
Hold on a second. Where is Madison? Hold on. Let me.
Fond du Lac County. And Madison is in.
Oh, it's 2 counties. Yeah, Madison's southeast of it. So yeah,
Yeah.
Close enough for government work.
close enough. Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, apparently the memorial project was part of Young America's Foundation's iconic patriotism initiative, which takes place across the country on campuses every year. The school's bias protocol board says the project creates an environment where the students from a Muslim background would feel singled out and/or harassed. As a result, Ripon students would not be allowed to hang flyers as part of their vigil to remember the victims of September 11th. According to one
in the college that this was going to be held at, private liberal arts.
Yep, they're evergreen.
Well, imagine my shock. According to YAF, administrators claimed that one of their objections is, quote, because radical Islamist terrorism represents a small percentage of the terrorist attacks that happen to this country, and they don't represent the full gamut. And they show a very small picture of a specific region or nationality based of the larger viewpoint. Except, here's where I have to stop them. Nobody said anything about Muslims regarding this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
really.
was this is just like the two lights in New York. This is a memorial for those that died. This has
Exactly.
absolutely nothing to do with any of that.
Not just the two lights, the actual memorial in New York.
Really, it's like, what does this again? What's this memorial have to do with Muslims? The only thing this has to do with Muslims is because a bunch of who were Muslims did destroy the buildings. But come on, that's not what we don't go to a memorial and ask for and do like 2 minutes of hate. Go do 2 minutes of hate towards Muslims in a fucking tragic memorial. Okay,
Exactly.
yeah, and do that at John McCain's funeral.
The YAF spokesman Spencer Brown had told Red Alert Politics, this attempt by Ripon College's Bias Protocol Board to sanitize the truth out of remembering the anniversary of September 11th proves the necessity of YAF's iconic 9/11 Never Forget project, as well as the need for bold YAF activists. YAF's leadership in creating meaningful memorials on this important date in our nation's history ensures that the rising generation remembers the 2,977 innocent lives lost. The administrators' reliance on feelings rather than facts betrays their intention to cower from the truth rather than highlight the scourge of radical Islamist terror for what is evil. For what it is, evil. The Ripon Handbook states that the college is, quote, committed to the free speech and open exchange of ideas and views as reflected in the institution's core values. But this commitment, quote, requires the confirmation of challenging issues in the context of civil discourse and intellectual inquiry. Students can combat bias by participating in on-campus programming around multiculturalism, diversity, and social justice. And into the trash it goes.
God.
Yep.
Here we
And
go.
trash it goes.
Get out the
Yeah.
keg. We offered up alterations to the poster that would also show non-Muslim terrorist attacks, said Hannah Kruger, a Ripon student and a member of the YAF. The Bias Protocol Board told the students that their suggested changes would look like an afterthought and instead suggested they make new posters of just the Twin Towers, she said.
Wow.
I would say it was
Christ.
so even when they tried to be nice and accommodate you, you still can't. It's never enough.
Yeah.
Everything is never enough.
Yeah, that thing. I would say don't change. It's like when they change it, it's like I ain't changing a damn thing. That's what you need to do. That's what people need to learn. You gotta put your foot down at these outraged merchants.
Exactly.
Yeah, really. He said, it's offensive. Motherfucker, this is America. We have the right. It's our fucking right to be.
Yeah.
If someone gets snippy about it, you know what? I have no fucking sympathy.
Yep. Now it goes the Ripon Center for Diversity and Inclusion.
You know what?
Drink.
Yep. Also,
It isn't a word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Exactly.
It bolstered its programming surrounding International Month, Black History Month, Women's History Month, and Hispanic Heritage Month, and LGBT History Month, and Culture Week. Yet bans the social activism of the patriotic event, remembering the deadliest terror attack on the U.S. soil.
How many freaking months are you gonna have? Unless you're gonna put White People's Month on there, get rid of it.
You know,
this is just ridiculous.
Shit like this is why I completely agree with Morgan Freeman's status on Black History Month.
I agree. Yeah, same here. Get rid of it. We don't need.
Quote him, "You're going to reduce my history to an entire month."
Yeah. Just nothing but a bunch of fucking bullshit.
It's a Hallmark holiday. I've made this very clear. Anyway, it says the handbook goes on to explain and vaguely define a bias incident, their words, as a behavior or act, verbal, written, or physical, which is personally directed against or targets an individual or group based on perceived or actual characteristics. While hate crimes should be punished and bias generally creates a negative environment for learning and living, Americans should absolutely be biased against our enemies, especially terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda or the Islamic State. Ripon's censorship of YAS Memorial is a chilling example of speech suppression, where a bipartisan, patriotic event is being shut down due to the anonymous objections of a few. It's also an example of shocking anti-American sentiment taking place in U.S. higher education.
Of course it is. At least he ain't no punches on that one.
I wonder if they're going to have an evergreen level incident.
Oh, I think it's almost inevitable.
Yeah.
Now that we've lowered our spirit.
You know what? Let me add something. If there being an evergreen incident, you guys will add another group to that terrorist salad, Antifa. Might as well add them into the mix.
Yeah.
Shit. I'd be like.
Will we? Now the AV Club did a short piece on Will Wheaton saying, "I don't deserve to be treated so terribly after quitting social media."
You know what? Hey, Mildred, keep speaking.
After quitting social media.
Keep going, dude.
Earlier this month, Will Wheaton decided to take part in a protest called the Accident. The plan really for a bunch of people to
I couldn't go on because it was drowning your voice out.
Yeah. To delete their Twitter accounts because, among other reasons, the social media platform had refused to oust Alex Jones. Despite having been on Twitter since the early days, Wheaton happily walked away, free of the website's anxiety-inducing infinite scroll. Anxiety for you.
He brought that shit on himself.
On a post on his website, he details his decision to take a step further and leave the whole of social media in his wake.
Bye!
But he said upon leaving Twitter, he began his search for an alternative social media space that would provide him with the things he still enjoyed about engaging online, i.e. jokes, cat pictures, and the occasional dopamine spike. Unfortunately, what he found after returning to the hot new microblogging site Mastodon was simply more of the same. Quote, I found a harsh reality I'm still trying to process. Thousands of people who don't know me, who have never interacted with me, who internalized a series of lies about me, who were never willing to give me a chance. I was harassed from the minute I made my account, and though I expected the shut up Wesleys and go fuck yourselves to taper off after a day or so, it never did. And even though I never broke any rules on the server I joined, Mastodon is individual instances, which is like a server, which connects to the federated timeline. This is what all other servers are. Even if admins told me they were suspending my account because they got 60 reports overnight about it, and they didn't want to deal with the drama. The series of lies Wheaton mentioned refers to an incident from a few years ago when he began recommending people use a block list created by Randy Harper. Oh yeah, remember the meth flip? Wonder what she's doing these days.
Probably OD'd on meth from all I care.
And which, unbeknownst to him, contained a lot of users who were trans or supportive of trans voices. Well, that must have been a dilemma. People, imagine that people who are trans don't all think the same. It's like they're actually human beings. Shocking, I know.
Yeah, not everyone who's a transsexual believes that in fact. That's just Not all transsexuals believe that there are 4,000 genders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes, when I found out, I did everything I could to remove those women for the list I shared. So trans men don't count, I guess?
Hmm.
When there were still innocents on the list, I stopped sharing the list entirely. Instead you said you tried to accuse gamers of being Klansmen.
Yeah. And they're trying to make it excuse. He's trying to make excuses. Say, oh, that's what. I'm not getting rid of it. Not banning Alex Jones forced me to. Bullshit. Number one, he just wanted attention. He just started attention. I think he was going to leave anyway. He just needed an excuse to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. Anyways, it goes, throughout Whedon's essay decrying the online mobs of bad faith actors, there seems to be one glaring omission. Any mention of his friend Chris Hardwick. Following Chloe Dexter's public account of the abuse she endured in a relationship with an unnamed nerd mogul, who was pretty clearly Hardwick, a lot of people expected an outspoken feminist like Wheaton to publicly condemn the actions of his friend. At the time, Wheaton said that he needed some time to process what was going on and put words to my thoughts. Those words never materialized, and a couple months later, he was off Twitter for good.
Let me add something else. I predicted this year that Will would get hit with some Me Too allegation. You know what? This is close enough. He's Nostradamus Judas.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, I don't have that.
And as one person said, you're criticizing him for not denouncing a friend that an investigation found innocent of the charges against him. And then somebody tried to shoot that down by saying, AMC investigations of will we lose money to keep Hardwick or to get rid of him? Except for one problem. AMC didn't do the investigation. It was done by the legal firm that represents his wife's family.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, at least Will. That didn't look like he was gonna turn on his friend because someone got bitchy about it. Well, that's mighty white of him.
Yeah, and it's like the article which is from the AV Club seems to be trying really, really hard to somehow say that he was justified and that there actually were legitimate issues with the Hardwick thing, even though every investigation into the matter showed that it was false and it was just a case of a bitter ex, as everyone suspected it was.
Yeah. So, like I said, you know what? I'm gonna play this shit out. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Will. Your little Fifi's got hurt because you kept calling anyone that doesn't think like you fascist or getting all thirsty or piece a day for some odd reason, despite the fact you got a girlfriend of you fucking halfwit. By the way, cut back on the okay?
Shut up, Wesley.
Fucking halfwit.
Here's the thing: if he were, I guarantee, with the whole "shut up, Wesley," if he were to actually play in stride with that, it wouldn't be an issue.
Exactly.
But because he decided to get all defensive about it, or about the Lego thing that made fun of him.
Lego made fun of him too?
No. What happened is somebody made some custom Legos, and the Wesley one was crying, and he did a long rant about how pissed off he was over this.
Oh man, you want some cheese with the wine, Will?
And this culminated when Patrick Stewart just stepped in and said, "Shut up, Will."
Shut up, Ashley.
Now, speaking of shutting up, let's talk about Big Dave.
Oh yeah, another asshole that won't shut the fuck up.
We need to ask the more important question though. How big is Batista's dick?
Well, judging by the steroids he's taken, I would say 2 inches tops.
Dave Batista says isn't sure if he wants to work for Disney anymore. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is powering through to Avengers 4 with some serious momentum, but Phase 4 is where things start to look odd. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 suffered a notable loss with the firing of James Gunn, creating a huge hole that fans are waiting to see filled. The more removed Gunn proved controversial for many, and now it seems that Drax actor Dave Batista might not even want to work for Disney anymore as a result. During an appearance on the Jonathan Ross show, Batista explained, quote, "There's a bit of an issue. It's a bittersweet conversation. No, it's a bitter conversation because I'm not really happy with what they've done with James Gunn. They're putting the movie off. It's on hold indefinitely. To be honest with you, I don't know if I want to work for Disney. I've been very vocal about the way I feel. I'm not afraid to admit the way I feel." Batista has not officially walked away from the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet. After all, Drax the Destroyer played a major role in Infinity War, and there's plenty of reasons we could see him again in Avengers 4 as Phase 3 wraps up. That said, a growing rift appearing between him and Disney over the James Gunn issue, it's entirely possible he could opt to not return for the project. Batista has been Gunn's biggest champion throughout this process, though the other Guardians actors have voiced their support as well. This is the biggest sign of his perceived dissatisfactions we have seen thus far. If Dave Batista follows through with this and chooses not to return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it could create a massive hole in the MCU going forward. Drax is a vital member of the Guardians of the Galaxy ensemble, and his proven comedic chops have made him one of the most reliable cast members in the entire MCU. It's arguably difficult to imagine what the MCU looks like without him in it, particularly if the Guardians franchise moves forward, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well, you know what? It's not if fucking woke Batista leaves, believe me, it ain't gonna be a fucking big blow. You can just replace it with John Cena, there you go.
I'm not entirely sure if that would, even if you did, even I think if worse comes to worse, they're probably just going to not even acknowledge him and not pull the replacement thing because they already
they might. You mean they might Chris Benoit him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they replace him, that's going to cause some blowback.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be bad if they cast John Cena. He's more talented anyway. But still, but it would be a bit more of a fuck you to him that they just gave him the whiff of air treatment.
Yep.
But then again, Batista's always been a fucking winger about shit anyway, and he's never been. And from what reports I've heard from fans back in the day when he was with WWE, let's just say Randy Orton had better as fan interaction than he ever did.
Yep. That's okay. And now for I do apologize for the fact that we have not made enough fat jokes on the Monastery, because we're about to make fun of people of size who do not know how to work.
Yeah, and it's coming from a fat guy myself. You know what? I approve of it.
Okay, this particular item comes to us courtesy of the Mirror.
Ooh.
Quote, obese people should be allowed to turn up for work an hour later. Government advisor recommends.
No. As a fat guy, no. I mean, We don't. We already got CP time. We don't need FP time too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, it goes, fat workers should be allowed to turn up late and be protected under discrimination law, a leading employment specialist has said. The plan could see obese office workers miss the rush hour commute and demand an extra large chair or even work from home. A UK government advisor will propose changes at the European Congress on Obesity in Vienna. Of course, it's fucking Vienna.
Of course, Vienna.
As new research shows, Brits are among the most fattest in Europe. Professor Stephen Bevan has advised the Department of Work and Pensions and is a member of Public Health England's advisory board. He will tell 2,000 medics that obesity should be classed as a protected characteristic, allowing staff to sue fat-shaming bosses.
Okay, Okay, so they want to treat obesity as a protected social status?
Yes.
What in God's name are they thinking? So what happens if miraculously you lose weight? Huh? That's the problem here. It's not race you can control. Sexual orientation, that's you sort of control. But weight? Even if you got an obese gene or a thyroid problem, you can control it if you want to.
Mm-hmm. Professor Bevan, head of HR research at the Institute for Employment Studies, said, "We need to coordinate our efforts so that people who want to work can do so. It can be working time. It can be having a bit of an understanding that someone might need to turn up at 10 a.m. because they have trouble with transport or anxiety about transport. Many employers get away with whatever they want." Professor Bevan will present a systematic review of research into obesity workplace discrimination. It included a major study on weight sigma in the NHS. Another study found that 1 in 5 Brits said they would object to an obese person marrying into their family. A third study by the European Study Association for the Study of Obesity found that more than half of UK doctors thought overweight patients lacked willpower. Well, if Wings of Redemption is any indication.
Yeah. But the thing I'm trying to figure is, how in God's name does fat people have transportation issues? I have never heard about. Maybe someone who's 500 pounds, but I can get in and out of my fucking Eclipse pretty fucking easily. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ! You know what the problem is? Like I said, sometimes you need to get up from and walk around a bit. I bet you these idiots that are complaining all the fucking time about this are the people at fucking Walmart driving around in them goddamn scooters. Like, ugh, ridiculous. It's shit like this, you know what? I know I'm fat. I shouldn't be saying this, but you know what? It makes me want to go to Walmart right now. Find someone who's done my size scooter and tip them over. Just so feel better.
Yeah. Let's see. Apparently one. That's why. I wish I could find the link, but I remember a few years back, Milo insisted that no, we need to fat shame more, and put out a series of short audio clips that were doing just that.
No, actually, there is something like that. I think they had it on Family one time. Here's what you do. Have them follow them around playing a tuba. That would work.
Yes, one of the rare times when when Family Guy was actually funny.
Exactly.
Professor Bevan added, some people say that obesity is the last characteristic that is socially acceptable to make fun of.
Well, of course.
I'm going to make fun of whatever the hell I feel like making fun of. You can't do shit.
Of course, especially
even if I didn't have an entire pond separating me from you, Professor.
Yeah, and besides, it's okay to make fun because one can control weight. If it's within your if you don't want any fat jokes coming your way, you do one of two things. One, take it in stride like I do, or B, lose some fucking weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Goes Christopher Snowden, head of lifestyle economics at the Institute for Economic Affairs, said, "This is a ludicrous idea that will only create resentment against obese people if it were implemented. Being fat is not a disability, and the majority of people get to work by car, so it is difficult to see why obese people should be given an extra hour to arrive. If obese people are to be given special privileges, then should we not also give special privileges to smokers, alcoholics, and compulsive gamblers? Where does it end?"
Yeah.
Right.
Next thing we know that now they say, oh, we should preferential treat the pedophiles. That's when it really gets fucked up.
Yeah.
I have to wonder if the guy in question himself is a bit of size, shall we say?
I wouldn't doubt that. He probably just he probably wants special treatment so he can eat his fucking Big Mac in peace. You know what? I actually hope for his sake. I pray he makes it to 60 because I have a feeling he won't.
Yeah.
All right. Now, obviously we couldn't do the main event that we had planned, but fear not. We have a backup.
I need a drink though. Should we take permission first? Because I'm gonna need a drink.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, I'm gonna have music playing in a minute here. Damn it. Why did I leave it? The thing I'm gonna play, well, since in celebration of Streets of Rage, I got this playing. So back in a few. What? Hold on. Sorry about that. Give me a second. Oh, damn it.
And the monk is back.
Thankfully, I have food due to not eating yet. I haven't done it yet, so.
So we're
just waiting on Aaron yet.
All right. Yeah, that was from Streets of Rage remake, by the way.
Ah,
Since we're figuring since Streets of Rage 4 had announced, I'd play something a little apropos.
All right, let me get... So, now that we've gotten the news and the geeks of the week out of the way, it is time, once again, for our main event. Every time I hear that, I keep thinking of Yappa Pie.
Yeah, that actually comes from a YouTube channel called Ho vs. Flair, by the way. One of their running jokes is they like to make remix Hulk Hogan's Yap Pie Indian strap match.
Mm-hmm. And anyways, let's get our main entry is from Riot Games, creators of League of Legends and obsessed with change for the sake of change.
Oh yes, here we go, kids. All together now, kids. 1, 2, 3, and go broke.
So I will confess something. I know it's trendy to hate on League of Legends, given the esports thing and how popular it is, but there was a point in time where I enjoyed playing League. Back in its more early days. And as time went on, I noticed that it was becoming more and more difficult to actually get that enjoyment, because every time I thought I had settled into a groove, a new patch would come in that would force me to change my entire damn playstyle, and I just got sick of keeping up with the ridiculously extensive patches, the fact that they introduced Dominion and did nothing with it, and similar things. I think as well as the fact that that they would they would make it so that more and more characters were very one note, as opposed to cases where you could play multiple roles with a certain character. Like some you could do both AP and jungle, whereas or do more than just one lane. And as this thing kept going on, they kept focusing more and more on the meta, even though that's a reversion of their initial statement that they weren't focused on a meta.
So here's the one: League of Legends. That's like a WoW game or something like that. Something like that.
No, it's a MOBA. It has its roots in the World of Warcraft, in the Warcraft 3 mod, Defense of the Ancients, which eventually got its own sequel through Valve. Mm-hmm. But the MOBA stands for Multiplayer Online Battle Arena. You've got heroes trying to take out the other side's tower, and that kind of stuff. That's how this is supposed to work. And
so basically, it's capture the flag.
In a sense, but in a slower approach, especially since keep in mind that the game is rooted in an RTS game. But anyways, so after that little bit of glorified blackmail from Kotaku,
because Kotaku,
where there were people supposedly opening up about the abuse, Riot decided to bend the knee and release this thing on their website. Our first steps forward. This was put out on the 29th. And showing this picture of, as if to say, look how diverse we all are.
Oh my god!
I can't help but feel bad for. I can't help but feel bad for everybody who was just trying to do their job programming. They have to stand out and do this photo.
Yeah, do this group photo. Do this photo because more diversity. Look how we're gonna be.
For the past 3 weeks, we've been focusing on listening and learning. Now you've been focusing on whipping yourself with a monk flail. As a company, we're used to patching problems ASAP, but this patch will not happen overnight. We will we'll weave this change into our cultural DNA. That's not how DNA works.
Mm-mm.
And leave no room for sexism or misogyny. There never was any room, except for the toxic ass esports players. But you're not going to do shit about that.
Yeah.
Inclusivity, diversity, respect, and equality are all non-negotiable.
Oh my god!
Oh, equality.
I don't know what you think it means.
I want hey, Team Siren. I think you should get your jobs back. But does nobody else remember the disaster that was Team Siren? when somebody had the bright idea of, hey, let's do a competitive league team that's made of all women, and let's show how awesome they are for being women.
Yeah, I bet they're probably not going to get their jobs back. They probably might get on the goddamn board of that company.
From what I've understood, everybody who's in Team Siren has just gone their own separate ways. Some of them are doing streaming on their own, and that's it.
Oh,
And saying that they have more fun doing that than they had doing the whole competitive league thing. And a few of them don't even play league anymore. I think the experience burned them out.
So they've been reduced to being titty streamers. I can say that, right?
I wouldn't go so far as to say titty streamers, just regular old streamers.
Yeah.
It goes on to say, while there is much to improve, there is a tremendous amount of good at Riot that will drive this change. This is our top priority until we get it right.
Oh, until we get it right. So basically, thank you, sir. May I have another, right?
Yep.
So all of those we've let down. Before we get into that, we have a few things to say. Some of which we said internally, and this should stay internally. Don't bring out your dirty laundry. No one wants to see that shit.
Yeah.
To rioters, contractors, former rioters, and past contractors, we're sorry. We're sorry that Riot hasn't always been or wasn't the place we promised you. And we're sorry it took so long for us to hear you. In the days, weeks, months, years to come, we're going to make Riot a place we can all be proud of.
Oh my word.
To players... Oh, go ahead.
So basically what they're saying, will that include if someone's like $100,000, they'll be paid the $100,000? I'm gonna vote probably not.
Probably not. I think they're probably looking at. I think they're probably passing that up for the transracial, wrong skin, disabled queer lesbian.
Attack helicopter.
Let's see. To players and fans past and present, we're humbled by the time you've spent with us. We know that the studio behind a game can be an important part of how you feel about that game. We know we've let you down, and we're committing to fixing that. Yeah, except every time you've tried to fix your damn game, Riot, you just break it in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah, the only way you let them down isn't because you're being offensive. The only way you're letting them down is because you're breaking your game.
Yeah. Now, for those watching, if you want a more comprehensive look at what happened with League, check out Ackman's video called "Well, What Happened to League," because he goes into it a lot more than I can.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't know if this is true or not, but have there been some runs that have started playing and going super bad every time they fuck up or some shit?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
I might look into that later, but I can't say at the moment. It's to people considering a career at Riot. We understand if you have some doubt or hesitation, but we also need you now more than ever. We need people who would please come in. We promise.
You know what? I'm good. Yeah. To my you ever heard of urinating tree?
Yeah.
Please don't work at Riot.
We need people who will drive change. Right. Oh, there we go with that word change. I'd make a drinking game out of the times they use change, but if I did, we'd all be dead.
Yeah, exactly. But just for the occasion.
Building Riot wasn't easy. Rebuilding it won't be either. But the promise of Riot's future is far stronger than ever, and if you're up for being part of the solution, we want to meet you.
My God.
No, you don't want to meet me, Riot, because I think you'd be intimidated by having to look up at someone.
Yeah, it's if they're on their knees the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Our current and prospective partners, we know you have questions about Riot's culture and our future. We ask for some patience as we focus internally on taking the steps to heal and improve. We're committed to you, as we are to Rioters, that we're going to set the bar high on culture and we'll update you as we
Oh God!
Oh, I don't think they'll give a shit about that. You bust the deal, they're gonna break their partnership with you on principle. So don't even make this excuse.
Oh, definitely. Now, let's move on. How we chose our first steps.
Step 1, we fuck ourselves. Step 2, we infuse ourselves with dangerous amounts of soy. Step 3, we become footstools to dominatrixes.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I'm not into BDSM.
Some people might be. I'm not going to kink shame unless you like getting dick slapped by irony.
Exactly.
We're committed to do things the right way, and we know the change we need isn't going to happen overnight. We're taking everything that we've learned from rioters and leading culture change experts. Drink!
Drink! And the question here is, who are the experts going to be? The same ones that are making Papa John's woke now that they're kicked curb?
Maybe it's the same people who developed the Starbucks thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
I saw what that thing looked like. That thing was torture to sit through.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm gonna look at it after the stream.
If we were doing this show when that thing leaked, that guaranteed would have been main event caliber.
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely.
Writers have told us that the steps we've taken thus far aren't far enough. Of course, never fucking satisfied.
Those aren't writers. They're pink-haired outrage merchants. Know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
In the old days, they used to sell snake oil. In this day and age, they sell hair dye. And we agree. Well, that was your first mistake. The issues we face are serious, and to drive this change, we need to fully understand the root of the issues. and yet you're keeping the blue hairs around.
Yeah. I'm starting to, I have an also interesting theory of someone. I'm starting to think Queenie is immune to the effects of hair dye. That's just a side note.
There are exceptions to the rule. Queenie is one of them.
Yeah.
This transformation is going to be the source of our future strength as a company. No, it's not.
Wrong.
To get there, we need to evolve our culture. What culture? You're a fucking game company. What culture?
Evolve. Fine. Evolve. If anything, they're devolving.
Yeah.
While preserving the good things that we think make Riot special. Your step in expanding the culture and D&I initiative. Drink.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? It's like so basically, Riot wants to convert from Homo sapien to retard fuck squirrel.
Sadly enough.
Pretty much. We've built a new team to lead our cultural evolution. This group and their work will impact every corner of this organization and will also accelerate our existing cultural and inclusion work. We are
Drink.
Yep, drink.
Yeah, and the question is, like I said, this is going to be like similar to the Papa John's Starbucks shit.
We are all committed to keeping the best parts of today's Riot, like our focus on player empathy. Oh, that's a laugh. Given how you guys can't seem to figure out how to get people into your own damn meta.
Exactly.
And best parts. You're basically diluting the best parts out of Riot, and you know that's gonna come.
Yeah, because League comes very close to Monster Hunter World when it comes to games that are very bad at explaining themselves.
Yeah, really.
Although at the very least, Monster Hunter can get away with it because it's not solely based around multiplayer.
Exactly.
League doesn't have that excuse. And hell, Heroes of the Storm does a better job explaining its meta than you do.
Oh,
that stings.
Especially since even with the fact, not only that, the failed game Paragon did a better job before they started doing these random ass changes. But I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it right now. Even with my issues with Blizzard, Heroes of the Storm is in every way a better MOBA than League.
Yeah, by far, because Blizzard knows how to do that kinds of games, despite the fact that their quality has been synced for the last years.
Yep. We're all committed to keeping the best parts of today's Riots, like focus on player empathy, while tirelessly working toward the future. This team will be accountable to our CEO directly. Oh, so you hired Grimo Wormtongue, huh?
Yeah, a team will be accountable. No, I think it's going to be the other way around.
Revisiting cultural definitions.
Go on. I want to talk a bit more about this. I want to explain the analogy a bit more. So basically, the CEO Riot is basically the ruling government of South Africa. Okay? This team is fucking Malema. Do the math on that one.
Oh yeah. Although speaking of Africa, it is kind of funny that that as soon as the president put his eyes on that whole farm bill, that immediately got dropped.
For now.
Anyways, it goes, revisiting cultural definitions. We are putting everything on the table, including our core cultural tenets, like our manifesto. Look, there is no need for a manifesto unless you're a nonprofit.
Exactly.
anytime somebody puts in a manifesto or a company philosophy, it always boils down to all babies must eat.
Mm-hmm.
They go, this includes reevaluating the language of Riot. Words like gamer and meritocracy.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Drink.
great.
Yep.
Oh, to ensure they mean the same thing to all of us. If the words are misused or don't help us describe our vision of the future, we won't use them.
Oh,
You know, a hallmark trait of cults is that they will constantly redefine and come up with their own words for use in their vernacular.
basically, Riot's gonna adapt a new speak. Lovely. Just turn your company into an Orwellian nightmare. That's so progressive.
Oh, maybe they can enter a partnership with Konami.
Yeah, it's it's soon. Let Pachinko.
Third-party evaluation. We have engaged 2 leading consultants on culture change to provide us with their expertise and recommendation as we rebuild Riot's culture.
You
Our
want to
goal
bet?
isn't-
You want to bet who I know those 2 are? ADL, SPL. I to you.
Our goal isn't just to be good; it's to become a leader in diversity, inclusion, and culture. Drink. We're asking them to develop mechanisms to measure our progress and hold us accountable against this objective.
Yeah, how they're gonna whip people. They're gonna whip people into submission every time some every time someone gets a little bit drunk on their fucking game or something.
I am tempted to do a drunk stream of League, but I do not hate my time enough to do that.
Exactly.
And I don't hate alcohol enough to do that either. Investigation process. We're evaluating and improving our investigation process and systems. We understand we lost trust with rioters, so rebuilding trust is key to making rioters feel safe and empowered to raise issues. Drink.
Lost trust riders, my ass. That's because you're watered down your so much.
Also,
just-
can I say that it's really fucking stupid to refer to either your employees or your customer base as rioters like this?
That's pretty stupid. And the thing, and like I said, this isn't a letter to these groups. This is a letter to the fucking pink hair brigade.
So here's some of what we've done already. 1, we've set up a hotline where anyone can anonymously raise issues and submit complaints.
Oh, open the snitch line!
Oh, great.
Woo, boy, this is already gonna be a disaster.
I think a bunch of people should call the hotline and just say, yeah, say REOP, please nerf, just over and over.
Yeah, or someone says, sir, I can't play this game because I need a dilation station by my desk.
We have expanded our internal team and brought in an outside law firm to assess our policies.
Law firm, probably law center. Yeah.
I have come to the conclusion that 1 useless man is called a disgrace, that 2 are called a law firm, and that 3 or more become a Congress. Oh fuck you! I was quoting 1776.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying those idiots.
They'll also be working side by side with talent partners to investigate any new claims raised by rioters to provide an additional unbiased layer to all our investigations.
So
since you're paying this law firm, you can't exactly have that unbiased.
So, and besides, what are they going to be? The bobs with soy in it or something?
Yeah, the problem is the problem still remains. You're paying them. That's going to cause a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee no law firm, not even the SPLC or any other firm that they're going to be using, is going to be going to be doing this work pro bono.
They won't be. They're gonna be. You'll be spending a quarter of your net worth. Spend a quarter of the company's net worth at least.
Mm-hmm.
No one and nothing is sacred. I would agree with it, but not. I would agree that nothing is sacred, but not for the reasons you do. We're prepared to make big changes, and we have been taking action against specific cases, including removal of writers, though we aren't likely to get into those details publicly on a case-by-case basis for legal and privacy reasons.
Yep.
So in other words, we're offering people up as sacrifices to the altar.
So basically, they're gonna go James Damore on these guys. Lovely.
Reevaluating recruiting. We're accelerating our efforts to make our recruiting system more open. We're overhauling our job descriptions to ensure they're readily accessible to all demographic groups. Reassessing which universities we recruit from and expanding the pools from which we target our candidates.
Okay, let's go back to that one. It readily accessible to all demographic groups. So basically, you're going to hire so anyone that doesn't look like they're afflicted with the soy, they're already out. Okay, we got that. 2, reassessing which universities we recruit from. So basically, CalArts Evergreen college graduates. Am I getting that wrong? Or anywhere in the Bay Area, Stanford, or fucking UC Berkeley, you name it. Okay, I get it. Okay. 3, expanding the pools from which we target our candidates. That's a bit of a misnomer. It's more like shrinking their pool to only hire idiots, the same idiot that Crunchyroll for their fucking writing staff.
Anyway, trainings. We're doubling down on trainings. Trainings that have been specific to managers are being expanded to all rioters, including interview training and anti-harassment training. In other words, seeing everybody as a potential harasser. I gotcha.
Okay, but Mel, for the rest of this thing, can you rename training to re-education, because that's what it sounds like here.
Yeah.
We're also investing in anti-bias re-education to encourage behaviors that foster a fair and inclusive work environment. Drink.
Yeah.
In addition, we are investing in management training for all managers to build and support better teams.
More like
experience has taught me that all that whole team building stuff and all that doesn't get results. What gets results is riding people's asses.
Exactly. And besides, and what? It's management re-education.
Mm-hmm. These re-educations will be required for existing rioters with elements integrated into our rioter onboarding program.
Yes. So the new employee handbook is George Bell's 1984. Well done, Riot. Well done.
Well, I've heard about this this league alternative that's supposed to be a successor to Paragon called Phoenix. Maybe called Phoenix Initiative. Maybe some of the people at Riot may want to look into that, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to kick your ass out for that kind of shit. Anyways, and staffing up for DNI. We are deep into the process of recruiting a new human resources officer, CRHO, and recently began the search for a chief diversity officer. Drink!
So basically, let's see. So, diversity SARS. How lovely.
join the CEO, President, and COO as part of our executive leadership team, and will add critical experience to our existing D&I team to accelerate all our work in this area.
Oh my God! Remember that? I think again, I'm going back to the Lemma reference. This is going to work out just sort of how the same deal that's going on in the South African government. It's going to end up as a disaster.
Mhm.
What's next? Venezuela.
Yeah.
We've always believed that Riot should be the home for the very best talent in gaming.
Nope.
You want the best talent in gaming? Go to Japan or go to Poland.
Exactly.
It's clear that we've fallen short of that goal. We've been falling short of that goal for at least 5 years, Riot. But we've never backed down from a challenge before, and we don't plan to start now. Well, if you've never backed down from a challenge, then why are you bending the knee?
Yeah. How about maybe you should back down now and fold. Because at this point, Riot only lasting 2 years.
I'm sure they'll stick around for a while, but the problem is they're still going to.
They're managing. They're basically what's going on. Riot is about to manage their decline. They're going to peacefully sunset themselves, and in 2 years' time, I think the nuts will run the nut house, and by that time it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd imagine that what they're going to do is you're going to see more and more streamlining, and you're probably also. I wouldn't be surprised if they kill off ARAM and have everybody do nothing but Summoner's Rift.
Oh God. Oh, yeah. And like I said, I bet. Oh, you know what? I'm also going to say this: in 2 years, their CEO will be ousted, and one of these diversity commissars, they'll end up becoming CEO.
Yeah,
probably. But I think we'll leave it off at that. We had a better main event that is unfortunately going to be the backup main event. But hopefully next week we'll be able to get to that. We'll be able to get to that bit of fun. And I know we've been tight-lipped on that, but for those watching the replay, trust me, it will very much be worth it.
Yes.
Oh, indeed.
Now, as for what's going on, I may or may not run just a rando gaming stream on my Twitch page, twitch.tv/Mildred the Monk. On a Monday because it's Labor Day and fuck it, I'm not going to have anything else to do. On Wednesday, hopefully, if everything goes as planned and there isn't more technical issues, we'll be continuing the Second City and starting the final act, wrapping that up. And Thursday, of course, I will be back on the Stream of Corruption. I wasn't able to make it last week because when I got home that day, I had this massive headache and I needed to take some tea and lay the hell down. So I skipped out on that week. And of course, on Sunday, we'll be back here, same Monk time, same Monk channel for Monastery Live number 14.
One more episode away. One more episode away after this one.
Actually, no. We got I believe we said it that the cutoff was number 16 for that little experiment.
No, 15.
Yeah, it was 15.
Yeah, the 16th. The 16th of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 16th of the month. Okay. Yeah, it'll be Monster Life. So 15. So 2 weeks.
Yep, 2 weeks away from seeing how our little experiment has panned out. I look forward to the results, and I look forward to the laughter that will ensue.
And by the way, before we go, one last thing.
Exactly.
And I think that's a good coda for the night. So until then, on behalf of the Good Brothers and on behalf of the Monastery, this is your gaming monk Mildra telling you to stay frosty, and as always, fuck the Watsy.